Lawmakers of the ruling coalition have rushed through the first steps in committee to approve the so-called General Water Law, which will hand over the distribution of the precious resource and control of infrastructure to private companies. Advisors to the opposition call the legislation a blatant move to privatize the basic necessity.
Now it's about private companies controlling the means of distribution and those private companies becoming owners of the water. At the time, they won't make the resources public, but rather it will be available to the mining industry or the hydraulic fracturing industry, which is atrocious.
Legal analysts who object to the law, such as Dr. Maria del Carmen Carmona, says it is a step backwards for Mexico. She says previous legislation prioritized water for human consumption, well-being, and a basic right. But now lawmakers have twisted this interpretation.
They confuse what is of national interest with the legal nature of water as a national right. And that is different to the interests of the Federation. For example, in this case, the interest of the Federation can be its energy reform and so on, instead of safeguarding the Constitution as a principle that respects general, social, and public interests.
For Carmona, this prioritization of consuming water for private energy or mining sectors will not trickle down to the entire population and will ultimately produce grave consequences.
The basic problem is that if there is no more gasoline, there are substitutes. But if there's no more water, there are no substitutes.
While the legislation guarantees at least 50 liters of water per day per person, the two experts warn that the law does not guarantee the protection of environmental and nutritional rights that will inevitably be affected. The legislation will be debated in the full House starting on Tuesday. Meanwhile, environmental, indigenous, farm worker, and social organizations are calling for mass mobilizations so as to kill the bill. Clayton Khan, Telesur, Mexico City.